Hello everyone, and welcome to this little video that I'm going to do on Phalaenopsis. And so these are the most common orchids that you will find in stores, but what I am going to mainly be looking at, and I'll look at a few examples of hybrids after, but what I mainly plan to look at for this are just the few species that I have. I only have 3, so I'm going to preface this video by saying that I am not an expert in Phalaenopsis species. I am not fluent in them. I only have 3, and one of them is new. So I'm just going to talk about what I do with them and what I like about them, and basically just a general discussion on Phalaenopsis species. So the first one I want to look at is this one right here. So it's not looking the prettiest on the mount. I had removed a bunch of the moss because I made a mistake and put too much on when I mounted it. But this is Phalaenopsis Kournikova. This is a species that this form anyway has deep, rich, blood red flowers, and they bloom on these flat rickrack slash kind of spikes that are very unusual for Phalaenopsis, but it blooms off of them and it blooms sequentially. It does not have a spike on it right now. It did, but the spike blasted. But it's growing. It wasn't a big plant. They can get very big though, but it is blooming sized. You can see the leaves look like this. They kind of have some of them like this dark stripe down the middle where the midrib is. And you can see some roots growing right there. It's adapting rather well. This is a really hot grower. It probably wants it a lot warmer than I provide it, which is probably why the spike blasted. But because right now the greenhouse hits around 80, 81, 82 highest, and then lowest around 69, 68, 70, somewhere around there. So it doesn't get super hot, but it's on the warm side. And so it probably wants it a lot warmer than it's getting, but it's starting to root onto its mount finally. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't always a big plant, but it's looking good so far. And so I have huge hopes for this one. Hopes that it'll turn out very nice in the future. Set that one aside right now. The next one is, and I've done a spotlight on this one actually. This is Phalaenopsis schilleriana. This is the silverleaf form, which is, I believe, a cross of the silver fox and platinum. I believe were the 2 clones that were used. I'm not sure, but it's growing really well. And a little update since I did the video for it not long ago. The leaf is still looking great. Got lots of new roots, still growing. They're looking good. There's even one. Let's see if I can get a look on the bottom. Yeah, you can kind of see that gray spot in the middle. So it's looking really good, and it's doing super well. I think it's happy in the conditions I've got it in right now, and I'm really glad because I love this species, and I absolutely love the leaves on this one. They're just gorgeous, especially the new ones when they turn they kind of turn that light purpley color, purpley green, whereas these are just green, but they're gorgeous. So this one seems to be comfortable in temperatures. I put this one in a very aerated pot, clear, so the roots also get some photosynthesis in. And I water it every once a week, and then I'll soak it, and then it'll dry out. So let it stay dry for a day or so, and then soak it again. And that seems to be doing well because it's thrown out a lot of these roots since I started doing that. But it's just, I can't wait for it to keep growing and hopefully bloom for me in the future. Because believe it or not, even though it's small, it is blooming size. Norman's, where this came from, Norman's Orchids, has a bunch of them and has sold some that are this size or even a little bit smaller than mine and still in spike. So I'm hoping mine will spike. And I can't get enough of these leaves. Put that one aside now, somewhere where it doesn't fall over. The next one I just got yesterday actually, so I can't say much about it yet, but it seems to be a very easy grower for everyone I know out here that has the same clone. This is a Phalaenopsis Bolena. Here's the tag. Violatia Borneo is Bolena, and so this is a cross. This is a cross of two different ones, and it's got 2 spikes on it. You can see here. Here's one, and then there's another one right there. And these leaves are they're rippled and wavy, and they're shiny, and oop, there goes Kournikova. And they're so just gorgeous plant. And the spikes, there's lots of roots. This is a 5-inch pot. This is a massive Bolena. I went all in on this one. It's supposed to be a very hot grower as well, but not a little bit less so, and can tolerate a little bit less so than Kournikova does. And so I've just been keeping it bright, keeping it warm since I got it yesterday. So not really much change yet. But I'm hoping it'll get the spikes going soon, because the flowers on these are gorgeous, and the fragrance, oh my god. This particular clone, I had orchids at for a friend that had it, who has the same one. It smelled just so wonderful, so delightfully fruity and sweet. And so I'm hoping this one gets going, and the leaves it's got a nice amount of leaves, nice huge root system in there. The medium is fairly fresh. It looks like it's just kind of like chunky bark, so I don't need to worry about repotting it either. But I'm looking forward to growing this one on and seeing how it does. It's a very light color. It got a lot of light. And then the spikes. The spikes look good. They may or may not blast. I hope they don't, but if they do blast, then so be it. It'll grow and then grow another one, no problem. Probably from that leaf joint right there, right above where this spike is emerging. But it's a beautiful species. They're well known for their leaves that tend to like curl and wave and whatnot, and they're a very shiny species. I love the leaves. So I plan on growing this one very warm, very humid, and very bright, and hopefully that'll trigger the spikes to get going. Put that one away. So I also have a lot of other hybrids, and so they're not as exciting as the species in my opinion, but they're still pretty cool. This one was an experiment that I did, and the misters had just been on, so it's a little wet still. But this one, it's kind of like it's kind of doing okay, I guess. This is mounted to a suet cage, just like the bulbophyllum was that I did a talk on not long ago. And so this was an experiment to see if epiphytes like Phalaenopsis would grow in these, and so far it is. I mean, it's got roots going in. It's got some new roots growing. The newer leaves look good. The older leaves were a little mangled to begin with, like this one and that one. So it's definitely doing very nicely, like for what I thought. It hangs downward, and this is more natural to what Phalaenopsis grow like in the wild. So this, even though it's not directly appealing to like natural growth habit, it's still a little bit closer, and it keeps water out of the crown because the crown's facing down and out rather than up, where like this one is. Kournikova is just trying to grow up for some reason, so the crown is up here, and if water gets in there, it could kill the crown. But for Phalaenopsis that grow like these, you don't have to worry about that because the crown faces down and out, and water just runs right off the leaves. It doesn't have a huge root system. Oop, back up a little bit. It doesn't have a huge root system yet. It was kind of like a little bit of this was just a trial to see if it would go, because I have no other options for it. And so far, so good. And I've got the hybrid, like there's a hybrid that's about to open right there with its first flower. Here's the Mucala I did a talk on not long ago. A couple talks on. So a bunch of my rescues and other hybrids. A bunch of these are rescues, and then some of them are not. They're just hybrids that I had. Like here's the Soga Vivian again. But that's about it. I don't have 1,000 Phalaenopsis. I used to have a bunch more, but I got rid of a bunch of them. And then some of them I lost interest in, to be honest. I'm starting to lose interest in hybrids. But that doesn't mean I hate them or anything. It just means I've lost a little bit of interest in them. But one thing I would like to look at, and I just found it because I was looking for it. I'm trying to buy some time while I looked for it. It's this. This is a flask of Phalaenopsis. There are no IDs, so this might cause some people who care about names to have like an aneurysm or something. But it was just a cross that I got at the lab that I worked at for flasking. He had made a cross, and he had made this cross out of a couple of his no IDs just experiment with monopodials and flasks. And it's packed full of seedlings. So this will be something I'll experiment with. Like I'll try different methods of growing and see how they do, because they're all the same cross. There's a ton in there, a ton of root growth. They haven't filled up the pot with roots, or the flask with roots yet, so there's still a little bit of time. But they're definitely packed in there. And so that's what a Phalaenopsis flask looks like. That's how they start life before they get potted up and shipped off to their commercial greenhouses. But that's about it for today. That's all I wanted to talk about. Just kind of touch on the few species fells that I have, what I do with them, and what my plans for the future are, and as well as look at a couple of my hybrids. Yeah, there will be more videos on Phalaenopsis in the future. I will do repotting videos, I will do spike trimming videos, and you'll hear a lot about my thoughts on how do you trim spikes and when you should and when you shouldn't. But yeah, that's about it. There's a nice little, take a little glance around again at all the rescue shelf. And then here's the Peloric one that's backlit, but there's the spikes on it. And another glance at Schilleriana. It's just gorgeous leaves. When they get bigger, they're going to be even nicer, but they're, even at their small size like this, they're just beautiful. But yeah, that's about it. Thank you everyone for joining me, and please do look forward for the next videos, as there will be lots of exciting topics coming up in the future, and I have in the works, and I have experiments and stuff I also want to talk about, so please do keep watch for that, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching.